Oh, I'm so pumped, man. I'm so pumped. James Gunn has put together a killer world, like, him and Pete Safran. It's a killer world. I think people are going to be excited. He's an amazing writer. The Creature Commandos is funny. It's dramatic. It's raunchy. It is raunchy. And it's like nothing that's been out there. So I think they got magic gold on their hands, DC.
What got yourself into down here?
Yeah, I just, the director yesterday, John Swab, sent me a really nice article you guys wrote about the movie and myself, and I want to say thank you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wrote that, so no problem.
I'm pretty sure you did. And so I reached out. I sent a nice thank you. I thought it was to your Instagram, but I can say it in person. I appreciate the kindness.
Not a problem at all. I really enjoyed Long Gone Heroes. I actually only just recently had gone down a whole rabbit hole with what's going on in Venezuela. So I was like, oh, this felt so relevant to my life. So it was so great to see.
Great, you're right. Not many people know the political environment in our country. They certainly don't know what's going on in Venezuela, but it is a hotbed. It certainly is. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a close buddy's wife actually comes from Venezuela. So I'm very, very excited to show her the movie.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, and I loved how practical the action was. How beneficial is it for you as an actor to actually have practical effects versus digital?
Look, I think digital has a place, but I think when it gets, overly digitized, it becomes cartoonish. And, for no other reason, we didn't really have the money. This is a smaller movie budget wise. And so we really had to be creative with the practical aspects of it. And that's why I reached out to John Swab. There was another director attached. And you can't see it, though. I mean, John and Kevin Hale, our editor, just did a great job at making it as seamless as possible so that nobody would know. But I want people to know because it's part of the narrative of the movie.
That's incredible. Yeah, I actually looked into because I was like, where is this film? Because it looks like Venezuela. And then seeing that's in Colombia. And it's so crazy, too, to see it's the difference between, even 20 years ago, Colombia, you wouldn't have been able to film. So, and then Venezuela, you could have filmed 20 years ago. Yeah, so then to see the difference.
I know. It's amazing. Venezuela could be a dynamic country. It's amazing how wealthy that country could be. And it's a shame what's going on.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah. And so were there any challenges filming in Colombia?
Every challenge. First of all, there was a language barrier. Second of all, there was a time constraint. Third of all, we were coming off of trying to make it somewhere else. Fourth of all, we were having to adjust the script accordingly. Cause and effect. What did we drop? How does that change what we did there? You know what I mean? Story-wise. So the whole thing was every night we were trying to figure out, are we missing something? Is there part of the story that we dropped that we need? And so, but it was fun. You know what? When something is a challenge, at least for me, it's a pain in the ass, but it's fun. It's you're not just showing up and saying lines. It's so John Swab, to me, he's in LA. I'm just told a couple other people. He's in LA right now meeting with CAA and William Morris, and Netflix, and you're going to see a lot of this guy at a big level.
Well, and with this being your 5th collaboration with him, can you talk a little bit about your working relationship and why it works so well?
Because he's a special type of director, writer-director, and he's a special kind of a guy, and he'll tell you the story. The guy was a junkie when he was in his 20s, like he was a heroin addict, and decided he wanted to be a filmmaker. And right from his first film, there's something about his writing that is so visceral and old. He feels like he's been on the planet a long, long time. And it's why he can go out there and get the likes of a Melissa Leo or an Andy Garcia I can go on and on with the list of people that this guy has worked with. And I can't say enough about him. I think he's going to be the next Michael Mann. I really do.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed with him, especially with how much he interwove these big actors that, I mean, I watch a lot of these action movies where it's just a cameo for one scene and they're gone and they're on the poster. But this, everyone feels interwoven and very much grounded in that world. So I immediately went to his IMDb. I'm like, what else has this guy done?
Well, there's those movies that they bring in the geezer. They bring in the geezer for a day, and somehow he's on the poster. You know what I mean? And it's his bait and switch.
Geezer Teasers.
We actually cut some of Andy Garcia's stuff only because it didn't coincide with the new part of the movie, right? So John wasn't afraid to do that. Like, he's not saying, this. We're not trying to fool the audience. Like, that this is. And I was look. I'll follow that guy to the end of the year.
That's awesome. Well, and it must be nice as an actor to have such trust in your director. Do you find that opens you to try a little more different things in a scene?
Oh my God. It's the difference between night and day. It's the difference between everything. Once you don't respect or trust your director, you're rudderless. You're rudderless. And now I'm on my own here. But with John, and he's not afraid of anyone as far as, this guy's been around for, he'll say, don't do this. It's too much, or do less, or come from this. And I go, okay, because I trust him. I trust his instincts and his ability to recognize human nature I'm telling you, he's up there with the big ones.
That's amazing. I always love when there's these actor and director pairings. So it's just awesome to see. Well, and you've been in so many of these action movies in recent years. What's your favorite part about being an action hero?
It's funny. I still don't consider myself that. But I guess I am at this point, established myself as a pretty reliable action commodity. Do you know what I mean? And my favorite part of it, believe it or not, brother, is getting to be physical. I like to incorporate because that's who I am. It's what I am. I love making Lamborghini, but it was very confining for me. It was like, this older guy in a suit who's blah, 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 right? It was great to do. And by the way, my buddy Liam Neeson, who was a very serious actor, after he made Taken, he's made a lot of Taken, right? If you talk to him, he misses not doing that. Like, he loves that because there's almost an addiction to it because your body is so connected to the whole thing and it's a big part of it that it kind of makes me feel like I'm 8 years old playing cowboys and Indians. Yeah, it's great.
I'm sure that adrenaline rush is something that a few things can beat.
Yes, and it makes you more in it. Do you know? It's like when your body you're breathing heavy and you're physical and you're it's like you're not acting. There's less acting and it's so, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not articulating it well, but look, I would just do that. I'm not interested in, I don't need to hang out with, Oscar people. And I love doing this stuff.
Well, and since you've done so many of them, are you always in training mode?
This is why I love these movies. That's who I was since I'm 7 years old. I'm never not training. I'm still in the best shape of my life. There's nothing I can't do physically. So yeah, I mean, I get to do both of these things I love and put them together.
Well, and so I have to ask you about your debut in the DC universe because it is just around the corner. How excited are you to introduce the world to Rick Flagg Sr.?
Oh, I'm so pumped, man. I'm so pumped. James Gunn has put together a killer world, like, him and Pete Safran. It's a killer world. I think people are going to be excited. He's an amazing writer. The Creature Commandos is funny. It's dramatic. It's raunchy. It is raunchy. And it's like nothing that's been out there. So I think they got magic gold on their hands, DC.
Oh, that is awesome. As a big Peacemaker fan, I can't wait to see what you do in season 2, as well as Creature Commandos. So I'm so excited.
What got yourself into down here?